everyone. Welcome back to Star Trek Club. It's our Dominion War edition. I'm Captain Logan, and joining me, as always, are my friends Brandon Grimm.
Hello, Captain.
And Adam Meredith.
That's pretty epic music.
That's from an old PC game. That's from Star Trek New Worlds, which I never played, but I was just looking.
I've never heard of this one.
I hadn't either, and I was just looking for music. You didn't hear it last week because I had this rigged up differently. But I played it last time, a couple weeks ago. But I played it last time too. The first week I played something from, I want to say, the Star Trek Borg CD-ROM,
right?
Which was more of a story-based thing that had John Delancey in it.
Sarah and I reviewed
it years ago.
The quick time, choose your own adventure type thing or whatever, where it was like live action cutscenes and stuff.
Yeah, and it took me forever to get through that mission where you had to not shock yourself
on that thing.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Yes.
But anyway, I moved away from that because I got copyright flagged for that one. So I was trying to find some kind of music that I could get away with playing and not getting copyright flagged. And usually I'm good with video game music, which is why I play that all the time. But that one it didn't work out. But this one so far I've been okay with. So anyway, that was the epic leading. That was the Klingon music from Star Trek New World, which it was apparently a real-time strategy game. I don't know if it was like a game that you would play with like LAN connected computers. It seems like that kind of thing, probably.
Probably, but it's also ground-based, so it's like
a lot of those were though
not space-based.
Yeah,
interesting. I used to play a Star Trek game. It was a demo on a disc that we got. So it was like one of the discs that you got that had several demos in the cereal boxes back in the late 90s.
Yeah.
And we had a Star Trek demo on one of them, and I freaking loved it. But you got to this one spot, and you shot this one phaser, and then the whole thing would freeze, and that was it.
Oh.
That
so
sucks.
I never got to play the whole game.
I think I had a copy of that Star Trek board game, and I don't think I finished it because I think it was one of these ones where it was on 3 CD ROMs or whatever, and you had to change disc in the middle. And when it got to the point to change disc, it would freeze. The computer would lock up. There's like some kind of glitch or something. Maybe there's a patch out there, but I know that was the days of dial-up internet and stuff, and kind of hard to find that.
We showed our age in a weird way in this Star Trek broadcast here.
We should at some point play the VHS board game on camera. I still have that. And we could probably get away with using a YouTube video and actually showing the footage while we did it.
Oh, maybe.
That'd be the way to do that. You had to wear stickers that denoted what rank you were.
Nice.
That thing's hilarious. But yeah, I've got a copy of that. We should do that at some point. Anyway, welcome, guys, to Star Trek Club. We're going to keep moseying on through the Dominion War, so we're watching from the middle of Season 5, DS9, all the way to the end, not skipping an episode from that point. And tonight, the episodes in question are Business as Usual and Ties of Blood and Water. So we're going to have some kind of Ferengi comedy stuff first, and then we're going to have a Kira character episode that is a follow-up to, I want to say, a Season 2 episode. No? Second Skin?
It's either Season 2 or Season 3. I think it might be Season 3, but I'm not 100% certain.
Is this about her time as a separatist, or is that the word I'm looking for?
No, this is when they captured her and tried to convince her that she was actually a Cardassian double agent that had been, like, deep implanted.
Oh boy!
Yeah. Apologies in advance, Brandon, if you've not seen that, because that's a wonderful episode, and it's kind of in its way DS9's answer to Face of the Enemy.
Yeah.
And I always kind of put those together. Which was, do you remember that? Which is when Deanna Troi turns into a Romulan.
Yes. I do.
It's like that, and those are both wonderful episodes, and they're about different things certainly, but that always seemed like kind of that idea repackaged for a DS9 episode. Before we get into the episodes tonight, I wanted to do a couple of fun things. We'll do a real quick, kind of easy standard replicator here in a minute, but first, I wanted to do some show and tell. So the first thing I want to show you guys is something that Brandon just brought me, and I actually haven't even gotten a real close look at this yet, but Brandon was at a vintage stock today and sent me a picture of this and was like, hey, you should totally put this in your collection.
Yeah,
can you,
it's cool.
Do you have $25 you want to hand me? And I was like, yes, I do. So this is a pewter Klingon bird of prey, which was put out by the Franklin Mint in 1992. It's dated. It looks like in different places. In one place it was dated 91, and in one place it was dated 92.
I noticed that as well.
So my thought was they maybe reissued it like the very next year. They were using parts from what they had before, and then they added they had to like remake different parts of it. I'm not sure how that ends up happening, but anyway, so he got it with just the base, with not the box and the packaging or anything. Brandon, if you can find this in package on eBay, it goes anywhere between 90 and $100.
Really?
Yeah, and all of these ships are like that. I'm not finding anything even out of package for less than 40 or 50. So we got a really nice deal on this. Yeah. So I'm excited about that, and I also hate you when you do these kinds of things because it makes me want to get into a new collection.
Yeah, no, I'm already wanting to look these up.
This is good and heavy.
It's hefty.
Like I said, it's 100% pewter. The detail work on it is really nice.
And the green is acrylic, so the light actually shines through it.
I was noticing that. It's really, I don't know if that's showing up on camera in our little box here, but it looks really cool. Anyway, so I'm excited about that.
It has a tiny bit of damage, but for the price,
especially for the price, yeah.
It's hardly noticeable. Like the little guns are bent on the tips of the wings.
The disruptors,
but
yeah.
a couple
I
of them
didn't see that.
There's one missing and one is bent.
Christmas
but
too.
It still looks really good.
I've had that.
It still looks really good, and if they break off, we can probably solder them back.
It's not at all a big deal with the with the price and everything. Because
no, absolutely not. It looks gorgeous.
If you're further away, you're not gonna notice it anyway.
I had to be right up
Franklin
on it.
Mint, is that those are the people that like advertise on TV and stuff, like get this collectible coin, call 1-800. Yeah.
Are they still around? Is that still a company?
I still see them from time to time. I think they are.
It's crazy. Like Eagle Moss filed Chapter 11, but that company might still be around. That's crazy. But yeah, there's a few other ships and things from them. Once I decided to buy that, I started looking up stuff to see what else they had. And Franklin Mint, I had to be reminded of this, is also the company that made the replicas of three-dimensional chess.
Oh, yeah.
And remember, Tapax had one.
Nice.
My old commander from my old first officer from our old Star Trek club. And they also put out a lot of... So they have some ships. The coolest thing they have, which is super expensive to get now, I think it's one of the rarer ones. The coolest thing, I think, is the Phoenix from First Contact.
Oh, nice.
That's a really cool-looking ship. But they've got some of the kind of obvious stuff, Enterprise D and Constitution class and whatnot. But they've also got a Stargazer that's pretty cool. And then they made like the bridge plaques.
Oh, really?
Cool.
So like perfect replicas of like the
that's-
TNG and the Voyager bridge plaques.
awesome.
Yeah.
That would be something I would love.
And then they have these. And this I knew about, but I didn't realize it was them. They have these also kind of plaque things that have like ranking insignia and like logos from different like species and factions in Star Trek.
That's neat.
So anyway, there's a bunch of cool stuff that would be neat to get into at some point if the price was right, you know. And then the other thing I wanted to show you guys is I found a holy grail this week. Or last week, I should say. This is kind of the big, elusive piece of reference that I didn't think I'd ever be able to finally get my hands on because it's always so expensive. And it's a really big deal that I've got it now. And I paid a little bit for this, but not anything like what I thought I would have to,
really?
and it was really cost prohibitive, and I didn't think I was ever going to be able to penetrate this. I walked into a Half Price Books last week, and this was sitting behind the counter, and I couldn't even believe it because I've been trying to get my hands on one for years. This came out in 2016. And I don't know if you guys are aware of this. Adam probably at least knows about this. But the Okudas came back and did one more update for the Star Trek Encyclopedia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they made it a double volume hardcover set with a slipcase this time. And they came back and they did it for the 50th anniversary. So it came out in 16, and it includes finally all the stuff up to that point, of course, that the last version of the encyclopedia didn't have. So the last version came out in 99, the revised and updated edition. This has also caused that, just to create as much confusion as possible.
Of course.
And in 99, it went up through Insurrection and through the second to last season of DS9 and the last couple seasons of Voyager, right? And of course didn't have any Enterprise yet because it was 99. So this now includes everything I care about. So this for me is complete. And also the first two Abrams movies, which is whatever. Those are also in it. Happily, anything from the alternate universe of the Abrams movies has an asterisk next to it, so you immediately know that it's the alternate continuity. So that's kind of nice. But it's everything before New Trek happened, because Discovery was the very next year, and I don't think they'll ever attempt to come back and do this again, because there was so little interest in this in the first place that it was a low print run, and it's really hard to get your hands on now. So
that's awesome.
I never see this for less than $450, $500. It came out at $150 for the two of
bought
them.
It then.
Yeah.
They were $75 hardcovers, and I waited because I didn't think they'd be scarce. It didn't even occur to me that. And the other two releases were never scarce. They were always really easy to get. And
you can go to any half-price bookstore and find them.
Yeah, all the time. These immediately became scarce. Like a year later, they started getting scalped, and they went up through the roof. I walked in, and they had a $300 tag on it.
There you go.
And I went, okay, that's double cover. I never see it for less than $450. And I got lucky. The woman behind the counter just happened to be the manager, and who almost is apparently never standing there. She was like, she was like, I can't even believe you caught me. I'm never here. And she goes, we've had this since before Christmas, and I can't move it. And she said, I'm sure we'll mark it down pretty soon. And I was like, well, I'm going to go talk to my wife and come back. And I came back the very next day, and she was standing at the counter again.
Oh, nice.
And I walk up, and I'm like, what would you drop it to? And she gave it to me for $250.
Wow. Cool.
And I was so I couldn't say no to that. I didn't need to drop that kind of cash right then.
Was this the one in Westport?
There was no. This is the one on that used to be on Metcalf that moved
now it's on
3 blocks away. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Null.
I almost went there today.
I couldn't say no to that. That was
nice.
That was one of the situations where if you needed to, you'd go to savings, because you're never going to find that price again.
Who was the publisher on this version? Because it wasn't.
Oh my God, it's so heavy.
It wasn't Pocket Books, I don't think. Like the first 3 versions.
No, I forget who published this. Adam Marsh says mostly in the $400 to $500 range, but there is one on eBay for $395. I guarantee you, though, that it's not in the shape that this one is. The other reason that I had to have this was because it's immaculate, and it looks like it was never cracked open. Like somebody took it out of the shrink wrap and then never touched it after that. It's preposterous what it looks like. And of course, I'm trying to be super careful with it, but I'm also using it. I'm actually going back through this now. In order to put together our old catchphrase card set.
Nice.
Do you remember we used to have that? Where we'd have all these different pieces of terminology and characters and planets and episode titles, etc., and we would play various games with it like catchphrase. I'm putting together a digital version of it now so that we can just use our phones and not have to print cards off.
You know what game I miss from the old stuff?
It's... what's that, Brandon?
Is the Star Trek spelling bee. That was always
well,
fun.
You're the only one. Nobody else liked that game. We did it twice, maybe.
No, we did it like 4 times.
It was 15 years. Heck if I remember. But anyway, password we would use those for, and all kinds of things. But yeah, it's a really pretty set. And Adam, next time you come over, I'm excited to show you
check
this.
that out.
You know what you need? You need.
What is this? What's on the cover of the second volume?
Oh! Let me find out before I put this one in. Sorry, this in fact is the second volume, and then this is. I was just pulling one out. But yeah, so one's TOS and one's TNG.
Yeah.
What's really fun is the. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. You were gonna say something.
No, I was gonna say you need a thing that holds it for you just to keep the spine from breaking too bad.
I think you're right about that.
Yeah.
I think I should set it on something when I'm looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, there's that part of me that just for the sake of collectability almost doesn't want to touch them, and then I'm like, but I need to use them because
like archival gloves that they use in like
the
special
lintless
libraries
gloves.
and stuff to hold ancient, rare books and stuff. Yeah.
So what you need one of those white gloves, but it's got to have like the Star Trek emblem on the back of it.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. Even I'm not nerdy enough
like
for
a
that.
Federation archivist.
Although I should get Star Trek fingerless gloves because I'm always wearing my fingerless gloves.
I don't. Ever since I had that day where I was like, "Well, that sounds like a mitten," I've noticed you've been wearing them every time since.
I wear them all the time right now. For a really stupid reason. Do you know about this?
I do not know about
I
this.
have this obnoxious kind of skin condition that I've never been diagnosed for this or anything, but it's consistent, and this is definitely a thing with me. Where if certain parts of my body get cold, I just start sneezing uncontrollably. You
have told me about that.
And I have found that, especially in the winter, if I'm wearing gloves, it happens a lot less often. So I have to cover my feet and my hands now. And like for the longest time, even covering my feet, I still had that problem. So it's the reason that I wear long sleeves in the summer some, and that kind of thing. But anyway, that's personal and nobody cares. Anyway, so I'm really excited about that. Part of the reason,
it's awesome,
because of course we have. I'll say this real quick too. We have Memory Alpha and stuff, but that now is doesn't have all the information this does because it's direct from the Akutas, and B is now mired with all the new Trek stuff and it's all mixed in, Like this is the reference that matters to me. Like whether you want to consider that stuff canonical or not, I just don't use it for trivia. And so, like that stuff gets in the way now. Mm-hmm. So it's nice to finally have Enterprise in the middle of it. But Adam, what's hilarious is the Akutas get there's some sarcasm in this that was not present in the earlier releases because I think they were a little bit drier. I mean, there was still some fun tongue-in-cheekness to be had here and there, but I think they were a little bit drier and they took it more seriously because there were shows on the air and they didn't think they
and they were still employees of Paramount Studios.
That's right. Yeah, they're still selling the thing, right?
Yeah.
With this, they make it very clear what parts of Enterprise they don't like and wish didn't count.
That's hilarious.
And it gets really funny. For instance, the entry on the first season episode Acquisition with the Ferengi. They have in italics tag. When I'm flipping through this, I tend to look for italics as much as possible because that's where that extra information is. Mm-hmm. And they at the end of that say, it's possible that because they never said the name Ferengi in that episode, that 200 years later the Federation still doesn't know about them. But, probably not, and they say,
funny.
That's our story, and we're sticking to it.
Nice.
So good.
Nice.
Anyway, so it's hilarious, but I'm very excited to finally own that.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's do a real quick standard replicator. We're going to start with Adam. Or do we always start with Adam?
I don't know, and I don't care as long as we're playing.
Okay, we'll start with Adam. And then we'll play, or then we'll watch our first two DS9s tonight. Also, for anybody interested in anybody that's already on Patreon or otherwise, just the $2 tier, patreon.com/geekvolution. You can hang out with Brandon and I right after this. We're going to watch at least one, if not two, discoveries after this. I came into this feeling really kind of out of it, not sure that I wanted to stay up that late, but if I get a second win, we'll do the whole thing. But we're going to come in and at least do one for you tonight. So check that out if you're so inclined. And now Adam is going to ask me a question because I'm thinking about something that has to do with Star Trek. Go ahead.
Is it alive?
It is alive.
Is it omnipotent?
Not omnipotent?
It is not omnipotent.
Okay.
No.
Is it in Deep Space Nine?
It is in Deep Space Nine. Yeah.
Ah.
Is it an individual?
No.
Is it a species?
It is a species.
Ah. Okay,
Is the species from the other side of the wormhole?
that's what I was gonna ask.
No. I don't. No, I don't think so. No.
Okay.
Not from the Gamma Quadrant. Okay. Is this species a villain?
As far as I'm aware, I mean, I'm a little rusty. I don't think that's where they come from, though.
Okay.
Is it a villain? Is it typically a villain species? Yes.
Ah.
Do you have a guess?
Is it the brain?
It is the Breen. You got
Nice.
the Breen very quick. I'm pretty sure
no,
the
they're
Breen
not
is...
from. They're from the Alpha Quadrant, or
I was going to say Alpha or Beta 1.
yeah, one of those. Yeah, this side of the galaxy.
Well, that
was a quick
That was
episode.
really
That
fast.
was a quick round.
That was really fast. Okay, we'll do one more real fast. We'll do one
Okay.
more, and this is, and I'll just say right out the gate, this is a Deep Space Nine thing.
Okay.
Ah.
Right out the gate. Brandon, why don't you start this
Okay.
time? Even though Adam got it right.
Is this technology?
This is not technology. No.
Is it alive?
No.
Is it a
Not
place?
alive.
It is a place.
Oh.
Do you have a guess?
No.
Okay, Adam, go ahead.
Is it from the other side of the wormhole?
No, and this time I'm positive about that.
Okay.
That's
so
good.
it's not the Great Link.
The Great Link.
Is it is it a space station?
It is not a space station.
Okay.
Adam, do we know the name of the planet where the Great Link is? Like, does that have a name?
Well, it's in two different planets, and I think they just call it like the Founder Homeworld.
Oh, the Founder Homeworld.
basically.
Yeah, that's right.
They move before the Cardassian Romulans come and
that's
try to
right.
destroy it and stuff.
That's why we're going. That's why we're going through this, Brandon.
Okay. So it's not a space station. So it's your question.
Not a space station. Is it a planet?
It is not a planet.
Is it a region of space?
No.
Okay.
No.
I didn't mean like that. You're an idiot. No, I just mean no.
Brandon.
That's not what I meant.
Is it, let me think here. Is it a moon?
No, it's not a moon. No.
No.
Is it on the space station DS9?
No.
Okay.
Is it a city?
No.
Is it in the wormhole?
It is not in the wormhole.
There's nothing in the world. Well, I guess there's like
Name
the
a
weird
place
prophet
in the
realm.
wormhole.
The weird
where the
prophet
prophets
realm.
dwell?
Well, sure,
Yeah.
but that would be the wormhole. Like, name a place in the wormhole.
Well, they take
That's like-
Cisco to that.
That's like this is Spinal Tap. Wormhole, where the prophets dwell.
Okay, it's your question, Adam. Let's move along.
I'm trying to think. Is it on Bajor?
No,
It's not of Bajor. You are
it's
of
not.
Bajor,
It is
Brandon.
not of Bajor. No, it's not fire caves or
Not
anything.
Fire Caves. Not Rakantha Province or whatever.
Right.
Is it on Cardassia?
It's not. It's not Valhalla.
Valhalla.
Say again.
Is it on
Brandon,
Cardassia?
It is not on Cardassia.
Wait a second.
Let me think here.
Do you have a guess?
I'm not going to be able to think of it.
Okay, go ahead, Adam.
Is it a ship?
No, it's not a ship.
I don't think we asked.
Well, you
that,
said it's
yeah.
a place.
Yeah.
So is
Well,
it,
ship
is
can
it,
be
That
a
gets
place,
dicey. A
I
ship
guess,
could
kind of.
That's
sort of be
true.
a place depending on how
is
you
it
look at it.
the prison they were in last time?
No.
Okay.
I don't even know the name of that
The Gulag. Or
Dominion Prison 521 or something like that.
Now your question, Adam.
Is it a digital map painting of an asteroid? That's not last time. That was from the time before.
Okay,
We've done a show since then.
All
right. Is it
Senior Sticks, are you watching us from 15 minutes ago? Because it was indeed the Breen, but this is not the Breen. Because this is a plane.
Oh God. Is it associated with the Maquis?
It is not associated directly with Maquis, no.
Okay.
Okay, you added directly in there.
Well,
is it tangentially?
No, not really. Good. not at all. Not at all. Don't get thrown off.
Is this area in space?
No.
Okay.
Let me think here.
No, Senior Sticks, this is a specific to DS9 thing.
Oh.
Why, I said that at the beginning.
No, you did.
This is a DS9 thing.
I just thought of something.
Specific to Deep Space Nine.
Oh. Okay, go ahead, Adam. It's his turn, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it a building?
Yes.
It's a building. Oh, gosh.
Do you have a guess?
Is it the Tower of Commerce?
No.
Is this building in the past?
Is this building in the past?
Yes.
Like exclusively in the past? No.
Well, not necessarily exclusively, but I was thinking of like Area 51. Or Roswell is what I was thinking of, like near Area 51.
Go ahead, Adam. That's just a really vague question. Is it in the past?
Is it?
Well, the reason I said exclusively is I'm like, do you mean a place that is not also in the present? You
no, it's just it's a
wait.
place they went to in the past.
Adam, go ahead.
Is it a place on Earth?
It is on Earth.
Is it Cisco's restaurant?
It is Cisco's restaurant. That's what we were looking for. Yes, sir. Well done.
Yeah, I started to get the idea it was on Earth, and then I botched my question, but I knew what I meant, and I got the answer I was looking for. So
there you go.
Business as usual. It's the 18th episode of season 5. Everybody, bear with me for just a minute because I need to grab the clock. Finally, because I keep forgetting to do that.
You're the clock master.
The clock, but what's the clock master?
I don't know.
Was that?
I think I was trying to say
was
clock
that a
king.
vaguely crap, or maybe I finally put it up last time, but here it is. Was that a vaguely crap Ghostbusters reference? Was that
sure?
Was that what that was? Okay. Anyway, everybody get your DVD, Blu-ray, Paramount Plus, however you want to rig it up, to timestamp 0.
Oh wait, hold up. I'm on the wrong
If you're
episode.
into torture, go to Paramount.
One moment.
Yeah, now
sorry.
if you have Prime and Paramount, you can watch it through Amazon's player, and it will be more stable. I have finally learned that, and that's what I do all the time now.
Okay, then.
I gotta get. Sorry, I'm on the wrong episode.
We have both those things.
There you
Gosh,
go.
I am cold. Ooh. I left my
We
jacket in the
are in a
vehicle.
basement. Do we
Yeah,
have to wait
it's
for you to go to
true.
your car again?
May I go grab it?
Are you serious?
Just like 10 seconds.
Okay.
What's he going to grab?
All right.
His coat from his car, because he always leaves his stuff in the car. He never brings everything in.
No, I brought it last
Well,
time.
my DVD. Is
Yes, but you still went to your car for something the last time you were here. He's always going to his car.
Come on.
Well, this is going to be absolutely riveting. I want to know how far behind Senior Sticks' stream is. Because he was asking if it was things like well after we reviewed it.
It's got a real lag. All right, there we go.
You got it?
I think so. Yeah.
Should we start before Brandon gets back?
Yeah, let's just go without Brandon. All right.
Just go without him.
Yeah.
That's what we do when we all go somewhere too. Like if he takes too long in the bathroom, Adam and I just jump in the car and leave. We're done. Hey Adam, tell everybody what you and I are talking about going to see in the theater pretty soon.
Oh God. We're gonna go see the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
But I need to go get I want to get we need to get. Do you think that 20-year-old Pepsi is like dangerous to drink? 25-year-old Pepsi.
I don't think that would be good on my stomach. I'll tell you that much.
I want a Watto can.
I want to bring some kind of goofy artifact to the theater. You know what I'll bring?
Yeah.
You know what I still have? I still have the storybook, Watch Out Jar Jar.
Watch out, Jar. They made so much crap for that. There is no other movie I can think of that had the level of merchandise as that movie.
No.
It was insane.
No, and I'm a giant 89 fan. It didn't have as much.
No, it was nuts. Like everything, everywhere that summer was plastered with episode 1.
No,
stuff.
and we're being blasphemous. We're talking about Star Wars on our Star Trek stream, but in my defense, I gotta wait for Brandon to go to his car.
Yeah.
Hey, Brandon.
Yes, Cap.
Are you gonna go see the Phantom Menace with me and Adam?
When's that?
That's in May.
In May?
In the theater, yeah. We're gonna.
I'd love to go.
We're gonna go.
I remember when I saw that. I saw it with my Uncle Andy.
I'm trying to get Jason to come with us.
That'd be cool.
Brandon, you have to talk like one of the characters in that movie. I don't know which one. I'll come up with something.
As long as it's not Jar Jar Binks.
No, you have to talk like Newt Gunray.
Who?
Newt Gunray.
Newt Gunray.
No, you have to talk
My
like
lord,
that.
is that illegal?
You have to talk like the guy with the radiator on his face.
That's the guy.
They've got up the ventilation shaft.
planet.
They've got up the ventilation shaft.
My favorite pod racer, I think his name's Rats Terrell, where they just show him and he just goes and it explodes in the cave or whatever.
So the Phantom Menace is the one with the Imperial trade embargo, right?
Yeah.
And it's been so long since I've seen it, but I used to try to talk
With
like
the
the
crawl
viceroys.
that bores you to tears if you try to read any of it. Yeah.
The viceroys that have the
Yes,
the
the
meeper
viceroys.
mouths that.
Yes.
No, we're totally gonna go.
I have
It's gonna be great.
I have the Lego Battle Droid that Lego put out back at the time.
You're right. Lego did put out the Lego Battle Droid.
Well, no, okay.
Did it break
yeah.
it? Did it break as easily as the ones in the film?
As a matter of fact, it didn't work exactly like it was supposed to. So you built this thing, and it folds and locks into a ball, and then you can roll it, and it has a pin, and it
wasn't a
opens
battle
up,
droid.
and it
That's
pops
no,
up
that's a
like the
droid.
bat-
That's a
Droid
droid guy.
That
Yeah.
was one of the battle droids.
No, the battle droids are different. The battle
Battle
droids
droids
say
are the ones
Roger,
that are like
Roger, and the
Roger,
droid
You're
guys
right.
have personal shielding. Yeah.
You're right. You're right. Yeah.
Anyway, back to Star Trek. So, someone on a Star Wars prequel club. It's Star Wars
Yes,
Club.
I'll go with you.
The prequel edition.
Oh, we're like an antique mall where the person doesn't know what they have.
We should do it. We should. We should do. You know what? That should be April Fool's this year.
What's that?
We do Star Wars Club instead of Star Trek
That's
Club.
funny.
Really?
All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. Let's get started here. We're gonna watch 2 episodes of DS9. Would you guys help me remember to rate after this one? Because I
Yes.
totally forgot that last time.
I will wait. I will help you remember after the first one, not after the second one.
Thanks, man.
I mean,
Because that's what we've been trying to do, right?
Yes.
Just rate them separately.
separately,
Okay.
yes.
Here we go. Everybody, please press play. Sorry, let me get my volume settings right here.
Oh my God.
Okay, Adam, are you ready to go? Adam,
Yeah.
are you good to go?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, cool. Here we go. Everybody, please press play right now. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Oh, nope, didn't do it this time. No,
Platinum.
now it's Dabo.
I want some gold pressed
It's
platinum.
Tongo.
Oh, you're right. That's Tongo.
I'm hearing
it's-
somebody's audio.
Say again.
I think I'm hearing your audio.
You shouldn't be able to hear my audio right now. Oh, you know what? I know why that is. Sorry, I'll fix it.
There we go.
Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh, hang on, I'm sharing the wrong thing now. So yeah, right away, we get the shot in Quark's bar that tells you that this might be a Ferengi episode.
Yeah.
Not that there's not some non-Ferengi episodes that start like that, but
And this one is not very comedic, as I
it
recall.
does set
This
the
is
tone.
more of
It's a
serious
little
one.
comedic.
It's a little comedic.
I did make it sound probably a little bit more comedic than it actually is.
Yeah. Antimony.
Well, yep, that's some
Quadriticality.
that's some
Project
good-
Kaylee.
That's some good continuity there. His pronunciation of that was weird, but
Powdered newt supplements. I need to get some of those.
So this is a Jeffrey Combs episode, right? Adam,
What's that?
is this a Jeffrey Combs episode? Is this
It's
not
his
a
It's
Brunt
not
episode?
a Brunt episode. It's Cousin Gala.
It's Gala. Okay.
There he is.
Yep, there he is.
And he's all... Same guy shows up for the Magnificent Ferengi also.
Are those his only 2 appearances?
I'm pretty sure.
Creep.
She's just used to putting up with Ferengi enough. She lets him do that. The one time.
Yeah.
We had some friends in our old Star Trek club that made a Tongo wheel.
Did anybody? So has people come up with rules for that?
Well, they made it Monopoly. It was Tongoopoly, and it was a Tongo wheel that was Monopoly. It was really cool.
Oh, that's cool.
And then later on, they did a Star Trek Monopoly that used Latinum, and ours was way better. Partly because it was circular and it spun, and that whole thing was cool. But yeah, so if memory serves, again, I'm rusty on this stuff. It'll come back to me as we're talking about it. But Gala is, I want to say, kind of a running joke before this.
Yes, he was
Where
always
he
talking.
keeps saying, "Oh, he's got a
like,
moon."
My cousin Gala with his own moon. Yeah,
He's got his own moon. Because he looks up to Gala and wants to be like Gala because he's got his own moon.
Yeah, yeah. He's always.
Or I
judging
say he
himself
looks up to him.
compared
He's jealous of him. Because that's
he's
just
a
Ferengi.
weapons
They're all
dealer.
right. He's a weapons dealer. And Quark probably wishes that, in some ways, that he had gotten into that business because it's more lucrative.
Right. That's when he talks about it in his famous root beer speech, I think, during the Way of the Warrior and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that he didn't get into weapons and he opened a bar kind of speaks to like
his character.
His kind of innate compassion.
Right.
And so he will obviously take advantage of people and goes as far as
Right.
gets into weapons in this episode, but he doesn't feel good about it. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's got more of a conscience than your average Ferengi does.
Right.
See, I want that. You've got one of those. But what I've always loved about Quark is that he's simultaneously the quintessential Ferengi and an individual that doesn't always fall into the stereotypical Ferengi way of thinking.
Right. Uh-oh, Brandon's gonna sing this song for us.
And I think the best like quintessential characters of various alien species in Star Trek all tend to have that.
Yeah.
Like Worf is
yeah.
also like that. Worf is like the Klingon you think of is like the big Klingon, but he's also like very against type with a lot
Right.
of Klingon stuff.
Yeah.
Now with him, that's because of almost the Spock thing where like he's of two worlds, right?
Right,
Like he is
right.
100% Klingon, but he was raised on Earth.
Right.
Quark doesn't have that. Quark is 100% Ferengi in every
Right.
sense of the word.
And that's probably why he hasn't been as successful as other Ferengis and stuff, because he's not willing to go completely unscrupulous in his dealings with, he has a line that he won't cross.
Well, it kind of suggests that society, kind of like Klingon and Vulcan to some degree, was like always like too extreme and faulty and doomed to fail in some way.
Right.
Do you feel like maybe they're quintessential examples of their own species due to the fact that they only hold on to less? Like, what I mean by that is, like, because Worf holds these particular traditions to be, what it means to be a Klingon, they have more meaning per capita, if you will, than some of the other people who are involved in their culture but are so quick to shun it themselves. Like, do the underhanded thing?
Well, I mean, I think he looks at it with kind of rose-tinted glasses, right?
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure what you're getting at, Brandon.
So I just, because Worf feels like he holds on to these honors more than the typical Klingon who's so willing to cast them aside and do underhanded dealings. So it feels like it means more to Worf than it does to some other Klingons. So he feels more like a Klingon than the other Klingons.
Well, I think with Worf, it's because, especially early on, it's because he's got something to prove. Like I said, he looks at Klingon tradition with rose-tinted glasses because he wasn't raised there, and he wants to embrace that because that's his heritage. And so you're right, in that way, he cares about it more than some others, maybe because he looks at it in like this idealistic way.
Yeah.
Instead of as something that he can take advantage of and use for his own gain.
Gotcha.
Like a Gowron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is that question, right, as to like why Quark has that sort of in common with Worf, even though he doesn't have the Born of Two Worlds thing.
Right.
And it's probably, Adam, because you spent so much time away from Ferenginar.
Right. Well, and it's weird. It's the entire.
It's Federation influence as much as anything.
His whole family is like this in one way or another, or the other. You know, that's not necessarily traditional. His mother, his brother, his nephew, all don't exactly. Quark is the one that follows Ferengi culture the most, but even he doesn't. You know.
Well, and the rest of his family sets out to change the whole culture, ultimately.
Right, exactly.
They end up being kind of like progressive activists at the end of the day.
Yeah, Rom becomes... Well, spoiler alert. I don't know if we want to say it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't either. I've been on the fence about how much to jump ahead and spoil for these.
We don't want to spoil for Brandon since he never bothered to watch this when it was easily available on Netflix.
Is this the first time we've seen Jake since we started this? I don't think he's been in an episode, has he?
I don't remember seeing him. I don't think. Odo could be anywhere. I wonder if that's Romulan ale. Okay, so this guy, I think his name, the actor's name, I think is Steven Burkhoff, and he always plays a crazy person that yells a lot. How do you remember
that?
Well, it said his name in the title, so that was a part of the clip in the credits.
Well, good job to file that away, because I never knew that guy's name.
But he was in the James Bond movie Octopussy. He played the crazy like Russian general that was always screaming and stuff.
This is gonna sound mean, and I don't mean it this way, but he strikes me as almost like a poor man's Vincent Price. Like,
yeah.
if you'd made this episode 20 years later, that's who you would have cast for this part, or 20 years earlier. That's who you would have cast.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Vincent Price could have been in Star Trek. Oh my god.
But I do think they play up a little bit of comedy with this guy. Like, he's menacing in his way.
They do.
But whenever we get into any of these Ferengi episodes and we're dealing with alien traders, and like he's weird because he's human, but he's in the middle of all these alien trade things. They're always like incompetent in some way, or just like awkward, or
these weapons look like they're from Men in Black.
Yeah, that looks like a dollar store knockoff of a phaser rifle.
Yeah, it does. That one does.
No, Adam March, I meant 20 years earlier is what I was trying to say, but I messed up my sentence. You're right. This stuff does look like Men in Black weapons.
This stuff looks like, yeah.
Brandon, have you seen this episode?
I have not seen this episode. No.
I'm probably going to ask you that every time. Does this one ring any bells? Which rule of acquisition was that?
I have no idea.
I knew he was going to fire on them, though, like with that weapon. Like, that won't be necessary for the targets, and he just tries to fire on them.
Although that's more like a fortune cookie than a rule.
Yeah.
Although some of the rules of acquisition do sound kind of fortune cookie-esque.
My favorite one is the two that are right next to each other. Peace is good for business and war is good for business. That's my favorite one.
So he
It's
says
easy
all
to get them
shipping happens
confused.
outside Federation space. So that means, that it all takes place outside the, like, that's a long ways to travel, I feel like.
How does that work?
Yeah.
Intraspace beaming.
There you go.
That's what you'd need.
Yeah.
Okay, look at those eyes.
The Stargate.
How did we... Yeah, exactly.
Chevron 1 is locked in place.
Well, at that point, you might as well do all the shipping through another universe.
Yeah.
I actually know a guy personally that sounds almost exactly like Gala. Every time I hear that guy talk, I'm like, I don't want to
CRM 114. Is that
That's
that's the Kubrick number, isn't it?
Yes, it's a reference to the machine in Doctor Strangelove.
Oh wow, nice one.
That is the circuit that keeps messages from going to the B-52 bombers.
I did not catch that. Nicely done.
CRM is also on the big giant
Back to the
amplifier in
Future,
Back
yeah.
to the Future.
Wow, look at that! Look at that guy, and then he just blew
God.
up.
One of these guys comes in with a sword, I think. Maybe not. I thought there was a guy with a sword. He does not look like he belongs in Star Trek.
So this is yet another species, Adam, that is just tac-tac again, or maybe tac-tac before the tac. Actually, no, this would be after the tac-tac.
After the
Tac-tac-toe.
Yeah, there's 3 or 4 of them where we'll
Tic-tac-toe.
do the bone right down the middle, and when we do it, we tend to also, for some reason, do the tac-tac thing where that character will speak with his hands a lot.
Yeah. This might have been at the same time as Attack Attack because season 5 aired concurrently with season 3 of Voyager, and that's when
that was that season.
Oh my goodness.
Macrocosm.
Macrocosm was
reused the
tac-tac.
prosthetic and glued some extra stuff on it.
Had to stretch the budget between 2 shows.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to give Michael Westmore too much crap for that because he had to make 700 episodes of Star
Oh, I'm
Trek.
not saying anything by it.
And
Well, no, I'm just saying I'm the one that brought it up and
they,
was making fun
they
of it.
said
Like,
Tedian in another episode we just watched.
I get it, but I also can't help but notice it when it happens.
Yeah.
And Voyager gets lazier with the prosthetics than any other show.
Yeah.
Well, than maybe Enterprise, but
Enterprise maybe. Yeah, they really started going for just like line on the forehead type thing on Voyager.
yes, they did. This seems like kind of a nice diversion in the middle of some of the other stuff we've been doing in the season.
Yeah.
We've also had a number of kind of character episodes right in a row.
But better than that weird one with Odo from last time. God.
Oh my god. That's the last episode right before this, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we got a... Well, I said diversion. I guess we're actually in a pocket of kind of one-off episodes right now.
Yeah, it's kind of a pause between the Dominion coming through the wormhole and then they actually go full out conflict breaking out and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, really the last big story thing we did that is going to be relevant for anything moving forward was the Klingon Dominion stuff.
Yeah.
In the prison episode that we started with.
Yeah.
We haven't really touched back on any of that since then. We haven't had a Ducat appearance since then.
Right. Well, I guess, and also Julian's genetic engineering that might come up some.
That's going to be really important, but for him as a character, that's still
a character.
That's still a side character
right,
thing,
right,
as
right.
opposed to dealing
a major plot, right?
With the larger serialized plot elements. Yeah. That always stuck with me.
That's great.
He's so awestruck.
Oh, is this the episode when he puts Kiriyoshi in the pit and Cisco's like,
oh yes,
why
I think that
why
is
is
this
Kiriyoshi
episode,
in the
maybe.
pit?
Yep.
Okay. I cannot honestly tell. Is that a real baby or a fake baby?
It is.
That's a real
It's
baby.
Okay.
The kayaking
I mean,
again.
it's definitely a lot older than it.
Why doesn't he have
its
like a
age.
Starfleet baby Bjorn or something like that to carry the baby around in? You know?
Yeah, they haven't figured this out in the future.
Yeah. He can go. He can go. No hands with that baby if he wanted to. I don't get it.
A little hovercraft thing.
Just strap him on.
I guess you could save him in a pattern enhancer, but that's in a pattern
dear.
buffer, but that seems a little negligent as a parent.
Yeah.
Maybe you shouldn't do that.
Only in cases of absolute emergency.
Oh no, upside down.
He just came in.
That was a nice first-person POV bit.
Oh, good.
Jesus, that's weird.
Okay, is Odo's door have glass on it or not? Because I can never tell.
I'll have to look at it again.
Is it just like a grid? Or
I thought it did, but
I think it has glass.
now I'm
not
questioning
sure,
it.
though. The same thing with Cisco's office. I'm never sure about.
No, it's glass. Well, or is it just kind of rods?
Maybe it's supposed to be glass, but they don't want reflections, so they don't actually put it on there and stuff for the set.
Yeah, it has to be at least implied glass, because you wouldn't want that open. You're gonna have conversations you don't want anybody to hear in that room.
Yes.
I use that as the thumbnail.
Uh-oh.
Community leader. It's fun every time Cisco does that, and it's not a real small number. Like, he gets in Quark's face a few times in this series.
Not as good as the time though in Pale Moonlight when he walks in and decks Garrick. That's crazy.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. And he just walks straight in. He almost doesn't stop. Like, the momentum is amazing.
Why does he feel like... I can't think of the name of...
Palpatine?
No.
Oh.
Data's grandpa, Ira Graves. Why does he feel like the Ira Graves of the arms dealings?
I don't know. I'm not having that at all.
No?
But
Wow.
I wish Ira Graves was more like this guy. Ira Graves is like is like the hick trailer park version of this guy. Like,
I don't know if this guy ever appeared in anything else in Star Trek. I'm not sure.
I don't think he did.
This
But-
guy's
but when
also
you
giving
started-
me Anthony Hopkins vibes.
When you started saying, when you started saying like where this guy should be, I thought you were gonna say like, perpetually at the opera, and then you went to Ira Graves, and I was
Oh
like,
my
okay,
God,
that's the opposite of what I was thinking.
The Metron Consortium, is that like a reference to Arena?
Yeah.
Wow.
This season, or at least the episodes we've been watching so far, has a
Risa.
lot of TOS reference.
I feel like that he wouldn't have, that the Metrons wouldn't actually be interested in dealing with this guy at all.
No, he should have said Tholians.
Yeah, Tholians or the Gorn.
And the Gorn don't come up as much as they should,
No,
which is sad.
especially because Cisco or Cassidy's brother lives on Cestus 3 and stuff. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, you'd think they'd talk about that more.
yeah.
And, like, sure, if they're afraid to look stupid, they don't want to show one, whatever, but they should come up as much as at least the Tholians or the Orions.
Yeah.
Because those both get talked about a fair bit in DS9. But yeah, the last few episodes we've watched, guys, like a lot of good continuity all throughout.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes without saying, but plenty of good sense of continuity
I want that
within its
glass.
own show. We keep checking back in things and progressing stuff incrementally, like with
Yeah.
Kiriyoshi and all of that. It's really nice just how good of a handle they have on all of that, and it helps the world feel like it's constantly evolving and lived in.
Get Morton's position on the counter there. That's just kind of cracking
No,
me up.
he's getting a lot to do this episode.
Yeah.
Did you see that shrug he did earlier?
Yeah,
Yeah. Special client.
Like he's telling a whole story in the background.
Exactly. I wonder if that guy goes to conventions and signs autographs.
Oh my goodness!
I was
and then
in
doesn't
the
say
Yeah.
anything.
I was in the Morn suit.
I was in the morning.
Senior Sticks $2 super chat. Thanks, man. He says, "Do you think Quark would have worked with Klingons? I mean, Quark doesn't like Klingons that much.
Right.
Typically, I think Quark would work with anybody that he could profit from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Whoops. What core breach?
What a temper."
What are you
Oh,
saying, Mark?
So that guy is basically Garrick. is really what we're saying. Something else that I should have said earlier, I'd be kind of remiss in not mentioning is we were talking about how Quark is, clearly meant to be the quintessential Ferengi. That also comes from it being Armin Shimmerman, who was the first Ferengi.
True.
Yeah.
So the actor playing him created this whole thing in the first place.
So do you get the feeling that I'm forgetting the other Ferengi's
Oh
name?
god.
Gala.
Gala. Do you
Yeah.
get the feeling that Gala is kind of under the thumb of Hagarth as well? And like maybe
Oh,
he's
yeah.
just trying to bring him in new business?
Yeah, they both are kind of afraid of this guy.
Yeah.
Brandon, I want those columns in my bunker.
Which
with
columns?
The ones with
The
the
water
bubbles.
coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Those are
Yeah.
awesome.
Those
That's
are
some
great.
real.
Not too hard to do.
Look at
we
that.
can make some.
That's some real '90s stuff.
That also looks like it comes from a Spencer's gift.
This is yes.
Yeah.
This is the Replimat. That's where they're at right now.
Do you think that's what it looks like inside of a Species 8472 ship?
Which is like bubbles floating and stuff. The
Yeah,
fluidic
Because
space.
they're from fluidic space.
Do you have any of those coffee cups that look like that with like the wide base on the bottom?
The unspillable ones, I do not have any.
Seems like those would take up a lot of space in a dishwasher.
Oh, is that why they like that? They're unspillable.
Yeah, so like
Brandon,
you can.
Brandon, I bet you I could spill them if I tip.
Yeah,
if
but
I
look
tip
at their
it
center of
completely over,
gravity.
it's gonna spill, right?
Yes, okay, but the point is that you're not gonna tip it over. They're not tippable.
Adam, considering the number of times in our old Star Trek club that you knock drinks over, I bet you could. I bet
probably
you could
could.
find a way to knock over an unspillable cup.
That baby grab for him. It's like
Just blinking.
Uh-oh.
You can put this baby in the
The
pattern buffer.
baby somewhere.
No. Don't put the baby in the pattern buffer.
I watched Counterpoint the other day on Voyager, and you know how they're hiding the people in the pattern buffer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're talking about like how their patterns like will degrade over time, and I'm like, but didn't Scotty stay in the pattern buffer for 70
Yeah, but
years?
his
Yeah,
compatriot
he had this-
degraded.
No. So he rigged Scotty rigged it in a certain way where the pattern wouldn't degrade.
Couldn't they do that
But it
again?
failed with the other guy, and it did degrade.
Oh,
So
maybe it's only
that-
like a 50%.
yeah. Well, don't you remember? He said he put it in some sort of a loop.
Yeah.
Like he had to do a
loop,
special
yeah.
thing to it. No,
Yeah.
Counterpoint is not inconsistent on that point.
Nope.
Okay.
And I like that episode.
Okay, well, Counterpoint's a top 10 Voyager
Yeah,
episode.
absolutely.
And that is Kate Mulgrew's favorite episode.
Really?
Good
It was
episode.
so good.
Kate Mulgrew, even though Janeway's not consistently written, I never have anything bad to say about Kate Mulgrew's performance. I always liked her as Janeway.
With the exception of the shifty eyes.
She gets a little
She-
over the top in some
She
places.
does sometimes. Wasn't it
Especially
so-
early on. And people that like to say that her voice sounds like a harpy, I mean, I don't disagree. But it's effective. I mean, it works.
I love it when she overpronounces Chakotay's name.
Chakotay.
I guess she doesn't get any more crazy than Cisco does sometimes. So,
And when he'll just break it like, woo! You're like, what are you doing? Calm down.
like emissary.
Is it, this is a conversation Sarah and I were having the other day. Is it weird to you guys that we have so many, like, background and even sometimes foreground in, characters with names, Bolians, and we know next to nothing about that race?
We don't know anything about the Bolians, what they're doing. Well, I watched another Voyager episode, or it was Bride of Chaotica. The only time they've ever mentioned the toilets, they mentioned in the episode, they're like, we only got 4 working lavatories, and you know how the Bolians are, or something like that. I was like, what the hell?
Nice.
Hey, Adam, do you know who this older guy, this older bald guy is?
That guy is Lawrence Tierney, and he was a kind of a tough guy actor, noir guy back in the day. And
I've seen him in
wow.
something.
then he was also in Reservoir Dogs. He was like the guy that hired them to do the job and stuff, and he was also in The Big Goodbye. He was like the gangster hologram guy that tries to walk off the
I know
holodeck.
he was in a TNG episode, and I could not think
And
of which one
he
it was.
is
Thank you.
crazy.
Which episode?
Because, so the actor is crazy.
Big Goodbye.
He like verbally harassed Will Wheaton apparently, and says like, "Oi, what are you doing? What are you running around like this? Why aren't you being a football player or something like that?"
Oh, weird.
And then apparently when he was on Seinfeld, he played Elaine's father in like an early episode, and they never brought him back because one time Seinfeld and Larry David were like working after hours on set, and he shows up and he's like trying to steal a knife from the apartment knife block, like the set or whatever. And Seinfeld was like, what are you doing? And he's like pulled a knife on him in a jokey way or something like
He's
that.
Elaine's dad, right?
Yeah, he's
That's what he-
Elaine's
that's what he just
dad.
said. Well, I heard him say on Seinfeld, that's what I've seen him as.
Yes, he's a I think.
No,
was
but he
pretty
said
crazy.
specifically that's the character you played.
I missed that
Yeah.
part.
Yeah, he had a reputation of being a little unhinged. I think
That-
Quentin Tarantino said that too.
I love the look that guy gives when Quark is like, can't we just wound some of them? And he's got like one eye half closed. And he's like, are you here to sell them? But there is I stand by this being at least partially a comedy episode because
Yeah, it is.
this arms dealer guy is there's something sort of tongue in cheek about his performance.
It is.
Like, he lives in this almost like dark sitcom world in the middle of Star Trek.
Yeah.
Billions of stars in the Milky Way.
And I don't mean that this is exactly the performance he's doing, but kind of the like seedy but comedic underbelly that gives you characters like a Cyrano Jones or a or a Harry Mudd.
Right.
Boy, Quark just looks so down here.
Yeah.
Like expressionless several times during this episode.
Well, yeah, he's having to cross a line because
Yeah.
he doesn't
Yeah.
want to kill people.
You've crossed the line, Quark. As Cisco would say.
I love the Ferengis' outfits. Always.
Yeah.
Adam,
Just so classy.
he is in as much despair as he was for a second when he thought that his friends were actually going to die in Move Along Home.
Oh yeah. Zombie Cisco and Zombie Jake.
It's zombie hammock time, yo.
I want these to be the founders so bad, or not the founders, the prophets.
The Cisco.
It feels like it, doesn't it?
It's cut the same way. It's the.
Except for
Why did you
everything-
put my
why did you
baby
put
in
my
the
baby-
pattern
Oh my
buffer?
goodness, look at this shot. That's insane.
Is this when he's on the wheel? In this shot, I think he's on the wheel at one point. I don't remember which show episode that is. in a weird dream sequence.
This is really good. This is really shot really well.
I don't like it.
That was like
it?
No, because it's Quark's dream, and the lighting and the editing makes it look, like I said, too much like the stuff
the
in the
Prophets.
wormhole with the prophets. Yeah. You need to make it unique to him in some way. It's less surreal because it's surreal in the same way.
Okay, I
Yeah.
see exactly what you're saying. Yes, it may not make sense to have done it that way for that, but I did like the scene, whether or not it related.
I mean, the writing is fine. It just,
There was some, yeah. They should maybe have made the difference a little more. There was some.
It's
slight,
not
like
weird
it was
enough.
underlit on the face as opposed to like the golden light of the wormhole prophet world. and
yeah,
stuff.
that's why
But
they
it
should
was.
have done it like that.
They did do it a little bit like that. I noticed, but not enough. Maybe
They should have gone more like TNG fisheye lens.
Oh yeah, like when they go and what is that crazy episode? with the
Phantasms
guy?
does it.
Phantasm does it, but what is the one with like the guy Violations? Is that the one
Violations
with the
does
crazy?
it?
Yeah, that's a crazy episode.
That was kind of a hilarious scene.
And I'm even thinking of
Yeah.
some weird sequences. Yeah, good on Adam for remembering them. But there's a couple of weird scenes in Voyager that do that kind of thing. That I'm thinking maybe should have been more the blueprint for how you shoot that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty desperate.
I'm trying to think of the one. We watched the one. Oh God, what? Which Seven has like the Borg multiple personality disorder.
Infinite regress.
Yes, and that was shot really interestingly when they would do the Borg stuff.
But there's some like weird dream sequences in that show too.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking of a specific example right now, but
Jerry's really good in that episode, that Infinite Regress.
yeah, that's definitely one of her best episodes.
Yeah. What was the thing in the hall? It looked like she went in his closet with that crazy pattern on the. Oh,
That's just what it looks like in the hallway.
I guess.
Nice use of reflections.
You remember the episode where this will be later, I think, but where Quark tries to get Garrett to kill him?
Don't know that one.
And into the holodeck. For then it's like, oh, I don't want to hear the last thing I hear, my neck vertebrae snapping.
He gets really picky about the
It's like-
method, but he's like, I don't want to see it coming. But wait, no, you can't do it like that.
Oh, you ruined my outfit. Yeah. He like phasered him or whatever, like a scorch mark.
I wish he'd stop saying Regent, because every time he does, I get flashbacks to the stupid Mirror episode of season 7. Emperor's New Cloak with Regent
Yeah.
Worf. Just wait,
What?
Brandon. It's the worst.
Okay.
What is that thing that's like
That is
dry
a
ice?
cartoon. Sorry, what?
There's like dry ice and a thing next to Quark there, like on the table.
Was it just drinks? 'Cause
No, it was like some kind of bubbly thing. I don't know what it was.
At least we're murdering some people. There's a good bit of tension in scenes like this, where it's like, is this guy
Yeah.
gonna actually run along with this, or is he gonna act like he's going along with it, but then it's actually sarcastic and he's gonna get scary?
Mhm.
There's a decent amount of gravitas in his performance, I think.
I want this guy to start yelling. He's crazy. There it
Yeah,
is.
what in the world
Dry
is
ice
that
fondue.
thing? And then it turns out the dry ice is actually Odo.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
they're eating him.
And the moral of the story is nothing good ever comes from war profiteering.
Yeah.
What could have possibly gone wrong?
The Palmerian Freedom Brigade.
So there's a decent number of these, like, Quark has to dig himself out of a hole he digs kind of episodes.
Yes.
And this is probably one of the better of those in, you know,
I think he winds up in a
our buying
firefight
him
on this episode, just like he
getting out
does
of it.
in Who Mourns for Morn.
Yeah, exactly.
And he has to dive behind something.
Well, that's also part of where the comedy comes in, right?
Yeah.
Because you got to have those kind of shenanigans
Yeah.
where simultaneously there are actions and consequences, but ultimately nobody really gets hurt.
Mm.
Hmm.
Mm.
I also like this angle in actually like getting the sight of it, because we do a lot of, especially in this era of Trek, like DS9 and Voyager both have a decent number of episodes with a couple of species going to war with each other that are like getting weapons from people that will supply both sides and all of that.
Yeah.
Oh yes, this is gonna be a big firefight. I'm remembering this now. He's pissed. He looks like somebody's scary drama teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you just imagine him directing plays?
Yes, I can.
Oh yeah. It's all that crap in the hall.
Oh God.
See, a descrambler is what you use if you meant to make fried eggs, but you accidentally made
Yeah, you
scrambled
gotta
eggs.
put them back.
Look, we can do some amazing things in the 24th century, okay?
Oh, he just sent his cousin in there.
Yeah.
What
And his
species
cousin
was
said
that?
after you and then went in first.
Sometimes somebody will walk by on screen, particularly in this show, and you'll be like, you cake somebody up in that much makeup for them to walk across the screen for 2 seconds? Like, what even is that species? That's called production value.
Yeah. It's the little details.
Oh, I don't know if you guys remember this, but Worf is in this show.
Oh yeah,
I was
Worf's
gonna
in
say,
the
first
show.
time we're seeing him.
Yeah, get to work.
We have to make our quota. We have to make our Worf quota so that Michael Dorn can get
It's got
paid.
SAG rules here we have to abide by.
Well, look, Michael Dorn has another airplane to buy, okay? So
Oh yeah, this is when he's like
Worf's
good
the
at
only
like
person he doesn't cry with.
taking care of Kiryoshi, and he like does those things like gong gong gong.
he gets stuck in this kind of situation a lot. He's got to deliver babies. He's got
Oh
to
yeah,
take
he
care of
delivered Keiko, he
babies.
delivered Molly.
He's got a pet sit for cats.
Mm-hmm.
He's like,
He
he's
used to
like,
have a pet targ.
look, you need to tell the baby that he's a good boy. I will feed him.
I will feed him. And tell him he's a pretty cat. And a good cat.
And then there's no way he'll ever get pregnant and have lizard babies.
Is that a space bottle? What's a space
It's a
bottle?
space bottle. Yeah.
Now we all hate the stupid space bottle.
And that's a space.
That's a space
Kid carrier.
bassinet or whatever.
Yeah. Bassinet.
Bassinet.
Yeah.
And what is that? A toy pattern enhancer?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It's like yeah.
Good call. It is O'Brien after all.
It's the pattern
He always had
enhancer version of the stacky block or stacky ring toy thing.
You know, that's what I should 3D print is parts to a pattern enhancer.
Yeah, I want toy pattern enhancers for my
We
kids.
can put
That
them
sounds
around
fun.
the Star Trek area.
This was a good economical subplot, I think.
Yeah.
Like that could have gone on way too long.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh.
it's got it's got very few scenes, but a good
It just
beginning,
comes
middle,
in
and
every
end.
once in a while,
Yeah, it has a decent resolution.
and some funny shots.
And Worf, one time.
Yeah. The Purification Squad.
Oh, okay. So somebody got her. How did we name a guy Nausicaa in a universe with Nausicaans?
We Nasa can name him that.
No, you Nausicaa can't.
Oh shoot!
So, I think the next time we see Gala, I think he's in jail. When
Yes.
they recruit him for Magnificent Ferengi. And
That-
he blames
that is where he
Quark
is at
for
that point.
everything.
And I'm not sure if that was a character anybody talked about, where they were like, "Oh, it's favorite character. We have to bring him back," or if they just
This
went,
is great.
"What Ferengi
Works
do
for
we
me."
have?"
So
I
think
forgot about that line.
He
Works
would
for
much
me.
rather be indebted to Cisco, right, than his creditors.
Yes, and what I want to say is that Cisco isn't as dangerous as arms dealers that are war profiteering.
Yes.
But that's not true.
Right. I was gonna say I'm pretty sure Cisco's kind of crazy in that area.
The episode, but we keep talking about this, but the episode before where we started, he threatened to burn a whole planet's atmosphere off.
He poisoned it.
Or that's what it was. He was going to poison it.
It was retaliation for what Eddington did. And then they were basically was like, well, now we can swap because this specific poison is only dangerous to Cardassians and this one's only dangerous to humans.
You know, that whole episode, I was thinking this weirdly has TOS vibes, and then it clinched it with Dax and Quark laughing at the end over the credits.
Yeah.
So I want to say this about this episode is that it has, Quark second guessing himself. So in the end, he underhands a Ferengi family member, which is what any Ferengi would do anyway, right?
Yes, that's true.
So in that sense, once again, he just proves to be as Ferengi as the rest of them, if not more so.
Yeah, but he's still got that compassion there.
Exactly.
But then so does
that leads to
his
your-
brother.
Right, but that leads to your whole talk about, the fact that it was the quintessential Ferengi.
There is no reason that that Quark can't just replicate another Dabo wheel.
Truth.
I never understand that.
But it's probably fixed, right? So when it hooks up into his establishment, he can...
He could still replicate another one and do the same thing.
But would it not allow you to replicate a cheating game?
He
knows?
could still
We
rig
gotta
it after he
modify
replicated it.
Yeah.
That's true.
He could use his own replicators,
That's
Yeah.
true.
you know?
The ones that have the spatula in the, no, that's the hollow or the
The spatula? What are we
holosuite.
talking about?
In
space
Arman
spatula?
Bashir, when they have Rom help them try to get all the people out of that program, they open up the thing and there's a spatula in there. And he was like, it's a great conductor for metal. for energy.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, that was like his version or his jerry rig of the
Interesting.
the system. Yeah.
That's hilarious. I don't remember that. Okay, let's go ahead and rate this episode. Then we'll take a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll watch the last one for today. Brandon, you want to start?
Yeah, I'm gonna give this 3.5. I thought it was pretty good. It had some, interesting dynamics. We got to meet some more Cork's family, and I was kind of unsure at the very end how he instantly repaired his relationship with Jedzia. But this is Quark being Quark as we know him, really, but and showing compassion at the same time. I thought it was a really good. His shrewd Ferengi business practices that result in him being bankrupt, kind of juxtaposed against his compassion for his fellow, beings.
Adam, what's your rating?
I guess a 3. I guess.
Yeah, it's
I like
That's
it.
a 3.
It was a good. Yeah, it was definitely a good examination of Quark's, inner conflict, basically, and how he's not exact like we discussed, not, necessarily. He's the typical Ferengi, but he's not.
He's not in it for profit alone.
He has a code.
And we'll build on that really well after this, too. So this is one of those episodes that's kind of, like, easy to forget, but if you've seen it, it'll, like, I don't know, subconsciously or otherwise continue to matter, which is kind of nice. It's also a really good Quark episode that doesn't feature Odo that much.
Yeah, I noticed that he was not in it very much.
Which is kind of unusual.
Yeah,
like usually, I feel like Odo usually busts in on his dealings.
Especially, we'll see. That's why he should have been the Mist.
Yeah.
But that, and it's especially surprising considering. And I'm not even really criticizing it. Like, I think it works really well still, but it's kind of surprising considering that this is one of the most illegal and heinous things Quark gets involved in on the station.
Yeah.
Like, Odo busts him a lot when he's just stealing crap.
Yeah.
This is
true.
weapons dealing and war profiteering.
Yeah, that's
They all
true.
got super mad at him, like, immediately, and they should have, but, like, it was really interesting to see.
The closest thing he does before this is there's at least one or two places where he'll, like, let people conduct business, this kind of business, like, at his bar or through him somehow. There's stuff like that where he's not directly involved, but it facilitates it, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Anyway, well, guys, we're gonna take about a 3-minute break here, and 3-4 minutes, and then we'll come right back, and we're gonna watch our next episode, which will not be as comedic, Ties of Blood and Water, and we'll get to a Kira piece. So yeah, it really does seem like the last several episodes are who hasn't gotten like a big character episode yet this season,
Right.
and we're lumping them all together. So I'm not sure when the next big story thing is.
With
Yeah,
with
I
a
think
title,
it's not till the end of the season, really.
Maybe not.
with a title that mentions blood. I had no idea this would not be a comedic episode.
Yep. Anyway, we'll be right back, folks.
All right.
Hey everybody, we are back. We're about to watch our last DS9 episode for the day. Ties of Blood and Water. It's episode 19 of season 5, so make sure that you're rigged to timestamp 0 and get ready for that. We're gonna wait for Adam.
Darn.
We had to wait for Brandon before, now we're waiting for but not very long. Adam didn't have to go all the way to his car. Adam, do you have anything in your car that you need before we get started?
I don't think so.
You ever leave anything in your car?
No.
Technically, my truck.
You ever leave anything in the vehicle you drove to a person's house in that you can hear coming from
usually
like a block
bring
away?
it in.
I'm more than a block.
Yeah,
Just FYI.
that is true. More than a block. That's true. You haven't been able to sneak up on me for like a decade in any car that you've had.
True. Well, I mean, okay, so my Kia actually was better, but it did start making noise near the end.
Your IKEA. You're just driving around in a piece of furniture.
No, the whole building.
Oh, okay. Anyway,
A spaceship-sized building.
Yeah.
you're just driving around in Cisco's restaurant. Anyway, it's a building. Let's get started. These are the jokes tonight, folks. I'm tired. Timestamp 0. Get ready to press play when I say now. Adam, I'm wondering how much of this one comes back to me because I don't know this episode super well.
Yeah. It's been a while. I watched it. I can't remember how long ago it was. I watched this one.
Well, we're going to watch it now.
Here
There
we
might be
go.
a little bit more dead air than last episode. Here we go. Everybody, please press play right now.
Not so much.
So I have this thing with Bajoran names where they just don't stick with me a lot of the time. You know,
Okay.
like I'll come back into this episode. Oh, that's right, the Kenny Demore. Yeah, I'm not gonna remember that tomorrow.
Do you remember those names, Adam?
Yeah, I remember Kenny Gamore for some reason. I don't know why I remember
He
that.
remembers them
And
way better than I do.
Nabrintane.
Yes, that one I always remember.
Well, I'm
I
sorry, I
was
said
like,
Bajoran. That's a Cardassian name, but I have it with both a little bit. An Abertain always sticks with me. I don't have a problem with that.
I think I've seen this guy in a different episode, or like the actor play another role. I don't know.
Who is this actor?
I don't know, but I feel like
Oh.
I've seen him in something.
His eyes kind of remind me of Neil Flynn, the janitor
Neil
from Scrubs.
Flynn? I don't think that's Neil Flynn.
It's
No, but his
shocking.
eyes are
It's shocking if he never played a Romulan,
Let me take a
because
look
he
and
definitely
see.
seems like a guy that we'd go to for Romulan.
The actor was a guy named Lawrence Pressman. And he played a guy I don't remember.
This is fascinating, Adam.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you looked this up.
Yeah. He was like the guy pretending to be like a Federation representative, but he was really the changeling that Odo threw against the Defiant Warp Core and killed.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah. That's
crazy.
him.
I would have never remembered that's who that was.
Yeah. So that's who it is.
How many decks is the space station? Any idea?
Who can say? Well, I mean, it's got, all these little rings, and then the pylons, go way up and down. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's not built like a starship, so you wouldn't put it in
It's
terms
hard
of
to
decks,
say.
but
I mean, do you say like they have floors?
Levels, I guess. I
It's-
mean, they have levels.
they have
but-
levels, yeah.
Hmm.
Well, it's more like a hotel or something, right? Like,
Yeah.
You get in an elevator and you up and down.
Can I install a turbo lift in my house when I get one eventually?
A turbo lift.
Yeah, just launch me to another.
Part of the house.
Yeah, I'd call it the Wonkavator at that point.
But you should install it like a handle. So like you have to hold the handle to go anywhere.
Okay.
Yes.
It's a handicapped accessible turbo lift.
Well, I'm just saying like TOS. Like TOS had the handle you had to grab
Oh,
to
you did have
talk
Well,
to
just
to
as
it.
long
Yeah.
as it's not like the insane version that's on Discovery where it's like the turbos look like they're like flying around in like a room, like a void. You have seen that part in your watch yet? It's crazy.
No, but I remember that. Yeah, no, it's nuts.
It's like the Willy Wonka elevator flying around inside this ship.
And then in Strange New Worlds, they've got the handles, but they don't always use them.
Oh, they forget about it. And these ones seem unsafe on this show was when they're in ops, you know how the thing just comes up out of the hole? What's there when the turbo lift's not there? Is it a giant hole that just goes down level, like somebody could fall to their death? Yeah, it's got that syndrome. So Brandon, have you seen this one? That's what we always ask. Oh, I think. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, I'm sorry, we were muted.
Oh,
Oh.
I totally responded to you and everything.
Sorry, I couldn't hear anything.
I don't know how long, but I may have seen this. He rings a bell, but I don't know for sure.
But yeah, this will kind of have that moral of there's, everybody's different, but there's a reason that there are stereotypes. You know, that whole thing.
Yeah.
Where like he won't, as Adam was saying earlier, he's not going to be as squeaky clean as she knows.
There's
So
no
like,
one-
this is literally
no
the
one-
only Cardassian besides Zial that she
Yeah.
likes and believes in.
Sure.
And lives
No
up to.
one's hands were clean completely that was involved in that occupation, especially at
That's
like
it.
a high level.
Well, it's the easy comparison, but like we've probably talked about this before, but it's like Germans in World War II.
Yeah.
So I've gone on
It's
record
like if
before.
you had any involvement, you're complicit in some way.
Right. I've gone on record to say before that if stations like this existed, I'd totally go out to one and like set up camp there for a while or something, like live out there on the edge of territory. But
You're just gonna hang out.
It,
And
it, it is somehow still safer than living on the Enterprise D.
Yes, because that ship is a lemon.
Dad Brad says, how much larger is DS9 than the Enterprise D? It seems multiple times larger, scary. Well, just look at the intro, and you can see there's
a galaxy class.
There's a galaxy class starship.
Some
on,
people say that the scale is wrong, but I don't. Yeah, I don't know. It's
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
but like
but yeah, they show
a station
little-
is always going to be much larger than starships. So
Yeah.
and it's still smaller than a lot of Federation stations we see.
Yeah, like the,
Like Outpost 23 or
space dock
something,
and stuff,
much
yeah.
larger. Or at least I think it looks bigger.
or the space dock. You know that.
Yeah.
Oh. There he is.
Oh, you guys blocked this for intimidation. I'm surprised you haven't promoted yourself to Emperor.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he said Emperor. I just made that joke.
Emissary.
That was a good line. That was a good line, folks.
Yeah.
If I were
It
Ducat,
was directed
I
by
would.
Avery Brooks.
I didn't realize he did more than one or two.
I didn't know that either.
Or maybe he only did two. But, like, you always think of Far Beyond the Stars, but
Right.
I didn't know he did this. That's crazy. And this isn't even a Heavy Cisco episode.
No.
Or at least it's not focused on him more than Kira.
No, it's not.
Any Cardassian does.
I'm really surprised they took this long before they brought this guy back.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Or it just cuts him off. Voodoo, you're done.
That's how he rolls.
Oh, this baby's in this episode too.
Oh, wow. So I guess...
Yes, that was weird.
I did what any friend would do.
I'm just an old Cardassian.
Which is weird, because she just told you that's not her kid. But okay.
Yeah. Mm.
But I don't remember what atrocities he ends up being implicated in or
Yeah, I
connected
don't
to.
either.
But I remember it being not cut and dry, and I mean that's the show, right? Like it's
Right.
always shades of gray. It's always that kind of yes but thing.
And I think, and the reason why she finds out, I'm pretty sure, is because Ducat tells her in order to manipulate her, basically. And yeah,
Yeah, and that makes it real sticky too.
yeah,
Like at the end of this, at least we can all agree that this guy is a lot more above board and a better person than Ducat. But then
right.
your standards are pretty low at that point. So like he's not a master manipulator, but he's a manipulator as much as anybody else in the Cardassian military. That's the other thing too, is when we talk about what like Cardassian culture is like and what the Cardassian stereotype is, we're talking about military people more than anything.
Right. Right. Those are the people that we usually mostly encounter in their society, for the most part.
And even when we get into their literature and their legal system and all of that, like that's all still military propaganda. It comes from the top down.
Yeah. Like when Julian and Garrick are like debating Cardassian novels, and
That's what I was thinking about.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he's like, you don't appreciate the beauty of the Cardassian system. The beauty is that acknowledging that there is no higher authority than the state,
state.
or something like that, isn't it?
It's screwed up, and they're really consistent about that with the penal system and how you're already found guilty
Yeah.
before you go to trial, and
Right.
the trial is just a formality. More than Garrick? The thing that always most impressed me about Cardassians, Adam, is how easy it would have been for them to just be like Romulans light.
Right.
Like, there's a lot of similarities between
There's a lot
them,
of
but they're
similarities.
not just Romulans again.
Right.
And for my money, they're kind of scarier than Romulans.
Yeah.
That's some pretty heavy stuff to lay on somebody. Thanks, Cisco.
Well, that's his job.
Yeah.
And also, they're about to go to war with the Dominion, so he really needs to look at all that.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they know that full war is about to break out, but I mean,
Right.
they're
pretty
in a more
obvious at this
volatile place than they've been, and
Right.
because Cardassia is full on joined the Dominion at this point, right, or allied
Right.
with them.
Right. Mhm.
And she should realize that with how serious he is, he's not going to tell anybody else. So if she doesn't take up the responsibility, the information
This has
dies.
a flashback because she didn't stay with her father when he died.
Yeah,
I remember this now. I totally forgot about that.
yeah. There's a whole personal parallel thing there, and so she's got to.
And they brought back all these actors too, which is cool because that guy was in the resistance cell in the earlier episodes.
Yes.
And then this guy they bring back in the episode about Kira's mother.
Yep. Wrongs darker than death or night,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Is that episode
I think so.
when
I think
season
this
7
guy-
when she's the concubine?
Yeah. I think this guy was also in the is it called The Thaw, the episode of Voyager with Fear?
Yeah, that's the
I think
thought.
I think he's one of the guys
With
in
Michael
the,
McKee. That is, you're right. He is in that.
the stimulation
Yes.
or whatever. And
He's
stuff.
in the simulation. Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. Yep. I just saw that again recently too.
That episode's crazy. He was like, "I'm afraid. I know." And he gets so drat. Drat.
She talks about the concept of fear like an odd number of times in that show. Like even beyond that episode. Like I just saw Omega Directive again the other day, and she's got a whole speech about fear in that episode.
Mm.
Oh, it's a good thing he's on a Cardassian station. They already have the tech to service the Cardassian physiology.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I don't know how Miles gets this stuff all to work together, you know? But they got
No
like
kidding.
Federation stuff in there, and they got Cardassian stuff in there. Yeah.
Well, they make a big deal out of how it's coming apart at the seams and
All the
doesn't
time,
work well together early on, and then eventually it seems like he's just got it figured out. Like he's not by this point in the series, he's not fighting with any of that anymore.
Right. Like
Oh,
when
we
they
got
don't
we got our legendary TNG space blankets back.
Yes. Like when they find the hidden program for the Bajoran worker revolt. The Tension Bajoran workers.
Yeah, we watched that in the Star Trek Club a couple years ago,
Yeah,
if
we
you'll
did.
recall. But no, these blankets go all the way back to TOS. They had them
do.
then.
They had that, yeah, they did. I think they were more red.
I said
on
TNG,
TOS
but
and
they
stuff.
had really
Yeah.
similar, where they're kind of silky and they catch the light.
They
weird.
look really, really, really uncomfortable. Like, why would you have that? They're like
Well, have you ever
sequins.
seen? Have you ever seen like the Mylar, emergency blankets?
That's not what these look like. They look like sequins.
No, I understand
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
but the point is that
fabric.
those look uncomfortable too.
The Mylar blanket.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at least they're like a solid piece and not like little scratchy things.
I mean, I've never tried one, but I can't imagine they're not scratchy.
It'd be like using tinfoil as a blanket, I guess.
Yeah,
Or a balloon. One of those
right. Yeah.
Adam, this might be a stretch, but this is also maybe, real Broadway kind of another take on like the Defector or something.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I could see that.
Where you have somebody that's laying out all the secrets. and feels, real guilty about their part. And
Seems
Or
like a theme
in,
from the last episode.
the guy in Duet, Eamon Maritza, the file clerk, too.
yes, I've been thinking
yeah.
of that this whole time. Yeah. The file clerk who was maybe not just a file clerk.
But then he turns out to be a file clerk, and it's all about some kind of the collective punishment, basically, that he's trying to force Cardassians
Oh yeah,
to
that's
acknowledge.
right.
Yeah.
That's actually more like the opposite of the defector.
Yeah.
Because that will turn out to actually be Admiral Chirag.
Yeah.
This is super tragic for Kira, and you just feel really bad for her by the end of this.
Yeah.
Because she's, in her mind, atoning for the sin of not being there for her father.
Right.
Because I guess, again, in her mind, she didn't have, the courage to do that.
Right.
And then the way she is rewarded for doing that for her surrogate father is to find out that he's not who she thought he was. That's really sad.
Right.
Okay, Adam, I know you're thinking what I'm thinking right now.
What is that?
Kira, tell me a story. Anytime Kira is standing over a person lying on the ground, all I can think is, Kira, tell me a story. You remember that?
Kind of. What is that from?
That's
What's that?
I can't remember which episode, but it's Cisco, and he's like delirious.
Oh, yeah. Starship Down.
Yes, that's
Yes.
it.
It's like, we talked about work. We
See,
never
I
talked-
knew you would remember that.
Tell me a story. What happened with the
There's several levels, but
with the tree? Oh, there's the clock. The clock he made in that episode when they all go insane. With the aliens taking in like season 1, remember?
Why is it
Dermatis-
there though? Is
Is this off?
Are we in his office?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. How about an establishing shot? I didn't even know what room we were in.
I think they showed the station, like they show a shot of ops to kind of show that.
Oh, that's
Of,
supposed
like-
to tell you what part
Yeah,
of the
what
station
we're gonna
you're on.
focus
Okay.
on. Yeah. Here.
Star Trek does this a lot, where they go get some rest, and then immediately the person who's supposed to get rest is called into action again.
Right after the order is
Yeah,
given.
the order, like, get some rest. Oh,
Kira,
you got
like-
something that can't let you
I
rest.
think she kind of uses that thing as an excuse initially too, like
Yep.
because she doesn't want to go through this because it's like what happened with her father, and she kind of uses as a reason to not have to be there with them at first. Oh yeah, they show up in this giant.
Yeah, but
ass-
ultimately she uses it as a way to redeem herself.
yeah, she does exactly.
Baseball 1.
And the giant ass ship.
Can you say that?
Ass. You ass.
Red Alert. I don't ever remember them going to Red Alert.
Yeah, they,
You never-
they
yeah,
do.
they do, and it's like the thingy goes like this.
Yep. No, they do.
Okay, all right.
He's still blocking it like this, where he's
Yeah.
like, I gotta be really intimidating. I gotta have a Jem'Hadar
I
on
got
one
my
side.
guys behind you.
I gotta have another Cardassian over here.
Uh-oh, and then they went in for a zoom shot there.
Pomp and circumstance.
You know what you don't want to have to do
Eyebrows.
when you have a shot like that?
Mm-hmm.
You start a scene, and it was a while before they cut. I was kind of impressed. It was kind of ambitious.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Cisco's gonna come up the turbo lift and then walk out and have
Oh my god,
lines.
this is the first time they meet Wayun
This is
for like after the time that he died in that random episode several seasons, or at least one season before. I totally forgot about this. This is when they acknowledge it's cloning.
Yep. And I don't think we know Vortas are clones at all until right now.
Until right now, and it's just because they wanted to get Jeffrey Combs back.
Yep. So this is Wayun 5.
Yes, and he was a Wayun for the longest.
And right. And then we're going to go all the way to 8 or 9.
I think it's 8 Okay, so the one they activate after this, and he's the one that is not right or whatever, and decides to defect, and
That's
then
the
they have
defector one, right?
then they
Yeah.
have Wayun 7, and that's the one that Worf just kills as he gets pissed off, and then Damar just laughs like, and then they activate the last one, so it got to be 8.
We are just giving away everything, by the way.
Yeah, we are.
It's okay. I've been paying attention to the chat between them. I zoned out on you guys 2 minutes ago.
That's okay. I don't know why you bothered to show up. You know what you could do? You could stay home and watch Deep Space Nine, Brandon.
No, I enjoy the company. I enjoy adding.
I
bits
like
of
being
wisdom.
here with you guys. I'm just not going to listen to Jack.
No, I've been listening
crap
to plenty.
baby
I
you
just
guys are
happened to zone out right there.
No, that's probably for the best, though.
Well, I can kind of hear if you're going in the direction of revealing stuff. So, your daughter.
I keep getting distracted because Jason's best friend's name is Liliana.
Ah.
There's a lot of names in Star. I made this point before, but there's a lot of names in Star Trek that 25, 30 years ago sounded really alien that are just really close to or straight up in the culture now. Like when I was growing up, like Kara, Supergirl, not a name you heard a lot. It's
Right.
I've known like 3 or 4 girls named Kara or Kara. And then, like, Jaden is one. Like, that's a super popular name now. But we named Data that like it was a really alien-sounding name. Then Ileana. Ducat's makeup was a little weird in that scene.
Yeah.
Brandon, what do you think those things are for on the side?
I'm not sure. I was admiring that whole setup there.
Yeah, I don't know.
We get the montage of information being transferred.
Yeah.
Is she recording?
Yes,
I hope
she
so.
was earlier.
Just trying
Okay.
to remember it all.
That's good.
What
She
is
could
that
just record.
outfit?
What outfit?
They must have it hot in there because the
outfit that
Cardassians,
she's
like the heat
wearing.
or what.
That goes all the way back to first or second season. That's
Really?
Yeah.
that's like her civilian casual Bajoran
That's
clothes.
what
Yeah.
she wears
How do I not
underneath her
recognize
outfit,
it?
basically. It's like her undershirt.
She wears that one in that episode where she goes back home
yeah,
in like
when she
season
takes-
2.
Yeah.
You couldn't
Maybe
come
a
up with something
black
more
hole.
generic
How
than
about a black
Bajoran
hole?
ale. I feel like we're too far into the show to still be throwing random ales around.
So he
Or
called the
least-
drink a black hole.
I want
Yeah,
to do.
yeah, that's a drink that he serves.
So
They
is
should
this
order
the
a
only time
Xena.
that Star Trek ever mentions black holes?
Not yet until Enterprise, yeah. Well, in motion
They should
picture,
order the.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah.
it's what they used to call a black hole.
Yeah.
But yeah, for some reason we just stopped using that term by the 23rd century. I don't know why.
They would always say singularity and
We've
stuff.
seen
instead.
beyond
Right.
the horizon at that point.
But Brandon, what I like about the idea of calling a drink that is this is not a Federation station.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean it's an alien drink. So like some
Sure.
other species came up with it.
It's cool.
This is what it is. Kyasa Monastery.
This is.
I'm
the
going to
rude
slide
awakening
this
scene.
dramatically.
This is where she's going to have the shattering disillusionment,
Yes.
and of course not trusted immediately because of the source. I am sure.
This is a real D move on his part.
Yeah,
He always
exactly.
does this crap.
Yeah, but
It's
this
just
is a
it's just how he does his business. Yeah. Well, and it gets a lot worse when you find out some stuff he's done later on.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know about everything with like him and her mother and all that?
no.
Yup. We'll
Yes,
get that in
episode.
7.
That episode's crazy.
That'll make you twitch on camera. You'll just be
Okay.
like,
Oh, shit.
there are 2 super. Oh, yeah, I
Oh.
forgot about that.
Dang.
And we don't even know what it is yet. That's great. Boy, I forgot she hit him in the face like that.
It was crazy.
Just the envelopes this show pushed, man.
It really is a Star Trek soap opera. It's a tiny, tiny screen. Is it in Cardassian?
I don't know.
Yeah, but everybody in Star Trek can read every language.
It's true.
Yeah.
Unless they can't, but they can figure it out anyway.
But Adam, you know what I want to see? I want to see a Cardassian walk into a room with 20 of those.
Yeah.
They're like hugging.
You're all tangled up, Brandon.
She's real salty now.
You're lucky I even nursemaid you anymore. You murder people.
Oh.
Adam, it always goes back to monasteries, man.
Yeah.
We were.
But yeah, I can't hear monastery without immediately thinking about Pajem.
Yeah.
I can't hear it without immediately thinking about Discovery, and that sucks.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I don't even remember there being a monastery.
That's where Pike goes to get the.
Oh, the time
The time crystals, yeah.
That's Borat. That's from, like, Next Generation, too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
That's
the TNG
cool.
thing. That's where Worf goes to have his vision of Kalas.
Yes.
And,
it's the
and then it
clone.
turns out they've also been mining time crystals.
Time crystals.
That's
Okay.
if I can use
got my time
the
crystals.
word.
Why did they make that Borat? It could have been anything.
That's also where they take that Klingon baby that was illegitimate.
You should get the Kanar bottle.
Those are so cool.
And this in TNG, they call it, the first time they show it, they call it Kanar.
Okay, fine, then bring this man some waffles. I don't understand what the problem is.
Oh, this is the best part. This is the best part.
Yeah, yeah. That was a great line reading. I just don't even want to talk through these scenes, man.
Here it is.
Why
It
do
is.
Wayuns get
Here
such a
goes.
kick out of this kind of subplot?
This is because I'm what?
Because they're all about subterfuge and that's one of his best line readings in the show.
Are you
So good.
bad?
That is quite toxic.
He died. Hmm.
I'd like to see the Wayun just not realize it was the wrong, like it was a poison he was allergic to, and dies. Like
Yeah, and then we gotta get another one.
In a,
That was the quickest Wayun dev.
like in Princess Bride. He just starts laughing and
Inconceivable.
falls over.
But yeah, Brandon, the Vorta in general are obsessed with espionage. Like, I want to watch a bunch of Vorta at a movie theater watching like a
Bond.
James Bond movie.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's kind of surprising that we didn't have Wayun in one of the like 007 Bashir things, but I guess they had to quit doing that, like we talked about last show.
Yeah. If that's true, I don't know. That's a rumor I've read once.
So we don't have any confirmation on that.
Yeah.
Um, I wonder
Allegedly, they got mad, because it came out right when GoldenEye came out.
if that's true. It's probably talked about in the compendium. I'll look that up later and see if that's discussed in that episode, because it probably is. I don't remember it coming up in the 50-year mission though, but it might. But if it's anywhere, it'd be in the compendium, because there's interviews on every episode in that.
Mm-hmm.
The Voyager one has like no interesting information, but the DS9 one is really thoroughly researched.
I used to have a copy of that one. I don't anymore. I don't know what happened to it.
One of these is a pointless fluff piece, and one of these is essential. Voyager finally got one though, kind of, with the Celebration book, but I haven't looked much at it yet. I've got it, but I haven't spent a lot of time with it. Yeah, I forgot all about these flashbacks. You know, she's getting a lot of opportunities to do the right thing here.
Mm-hmm.
This is the second or third time that he has implored her to stay with him.
That's a cool medallion.
Yeah.
How'd you like to have one of those hanging up in your Star Trek area?
That'd be cool.
I'm not a big enough Bajoran fan, but yeah, that stuff's cool.
Along with the Ferengi business license. Showed up in the last episode, too.
Yeah. I think that's the sign that says no Ferengi are allowed to do business here because of the FCA
Yes.
or whatever.
Yeah.
We talked about that last show, too.
Major, please.
Her console looks like it should be flying a shuttlecraft.
They all have that big desk in their quarters. I don't know why, but yeah, that with all those.
That is a massive piece of machinery that can't possibly do anything but bring up stuff on a monitor. Like, what is the point of it? And also keep in mind, this is a world where you can tell the computer to do anything you want it to do.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I don't know why it needs to look like a cockpit.
I think this guy's name's Pharrell, if I'm remembering correctly.
So wear big cowboy
him and his
hats.
girlfriend Lupiza. That's the woman that.
You drive me crazy how much better you know the show than I do. I can't have it. Brandon, I'm gonna have to really up my DS9 game, man.
All right. Can I stay the same, or do I have to learn something too?
No, it's just your standard is different. I'm gonna up my game by rewatching the show and reading my encyclopedia and writing lots of trivia and stuff. The way you're gonna do it is watching the damn thing in the first place.
Yes, no, that's true. That's very true.
Beginning.
I'm just gonna learn. You're relearning.
I'm just gonna keep giving you crap about it.
It's fine by me as long as I'm
it's
watching
funny.
it now. How do you feel about the makeup for young Kira and the characterization of young Kira in this episode?
Well, I guess it's really consistent with what they've done before. First of all,
Yeah, they've shown her
because we have been to this period before.
And I've
she
seen some of
buries
that. Yes, I agree
him
with
on this
that.
cliff here.
I don't think they have to do too much to try to make her younger because of, being a terrorist and everything she's going through. So
Yeah.
that gives you a lot of leeway. Like she's gonna kind of look older just by virtue of being in this position.
Truth.
And then beyond that, it's just put a bunch of soot on your face. And I guess she's got red hair for some reason. And I guess the other thing is make your hair longer so you're wearing kind of a bad wig. It's not a great wig.
I think that thing she's holding is something that he gave her in Second Skin.
Maybe.
This probably and this is a good episode. This probably watches even better back to back with that.
Yeah.
I would imagine. Adam March, did Adam ever lose the trivia bees when you had real life club? I know you won them a lot. I don't know if you ever lost one.
I probably did. I never got to do spelling bee or whatever that Brandon was talking about.
Oh, did you not?
No.
Rolling-Hoff Rasmussen was a fun
And I'm
one.
not sure how many of the trivia bees you were at, because did you come to Lawrence for those?
Yes, I came twice.
Okay. And we only had 4 or 5 of those.
The one time we did that trek after, or what was it called? Late night trek?
Late night trek.
Yes.
That we stayed the night at her house. That was pretty cool.
That was one of the coolest events we did, I think. That was such a great place.
That was a cool house.
He died.
She's so good in this episode.
Yeah.
Brandon, are you depressed yet?
I mean, it's sad. She had her world shot. One of the 2 Cardassians she accepted, was not who she thought he was. But she has to understand on some deeper level.
And she clearly does. Yeah, she clearly still cares. There's a nuance to this.
Yeah, because she herself, went out and did things in war.
Mm-hmm.
Hadamar says Brandon is depressed because Discovery's next. No, that's why I'm depressed.
Mm-hmm.
You can't see me slitting my wrists off camera right now, but...
Science has suggested in the last few years that when you die, your brain knows that it's dying, which I find really fascinating because you are a product of your brain, right? But the brain, that you're dying when you're dying. Sounds a little terrifying.
Interesting.
Or maybe it's peaceful too. Who knows? Yeah.
Who knows?
Or it just goes red alert.
I've always kind of wondered if when they talk about how your life flashes before your eyes at the end, if that's just a bunch of neurons firing in random orders, as your brain starts to go out.
Probably.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
The makeup here is really good too. I think there's an intent to make her look super tired.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's got bags under her eyes.
Mm-hmm.
She looks like I feel right now, I think.
She's looking at the Paramount Plus screen, waiting to load Discovery.
This is the face of a woman that is still paying for Paramount Plus. This is a somber moment, Brandon.
Well, it's gonna get somber.
Hey, Paramount Plus does have some good old stuff on there.
But the
Even if
interface.
it's a terrible interface. It actually...
It's no L
Yeah,
cards.
it doesn't work good. It works okay on the Roku and the Apple TV. On the web that we have, the website though is I've used. It's not good.
It is unusable on a Fire Stick. Unusable.
She's sad that Hulu's going away.
But yeah, this is a spectacularly good arc for her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I love that there's nothing gimmicky about that or convoluted. It isn't like,
Right.
for a minute she thought that he was... But in the end, he was like the
like
best Cardassian that ever lived. Or, we don't do
listen
that.
to this though. He conjures up something here.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about this.
He doesn't care. Yeah, this is good.
They have like a 22 phaser salute.
No, she buries him next to her father.
It's a space burlap bag. Space dirt.
Those are the smallest Stargates I've ever seen. Oh,
It's a space headstone.
Chevrons. Those are the chevrons.
well, it's not a space headstone. It's a Bajoran headstone. There's nothing. Hold on.
A chevron.
Why would
There's
there even
nothing
be such a thing,
spacey
Brandon?
about that.
Space
It's
headstone?
alien,
Okay.
but it's not spacey.
Okay, an alien headstone.
It would be a space headstone if there were like lights flickering around it.
A space weeping willow.
Just like neon.
Space ivy. Space grass.
Yeah.
Space flowers.
Space
Sorry.
flowers.
Oh my God, Brandon. Space everything.
You know, it's interesting to watch this episode after going to both a 9/11 and Korean Wars memorials today.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes, Nikki and I visited two war memorials today in the area.
Do we have another Ferengi episode right after this?
What's the next
the
one?
screenshot? I didn't see the episode title. The screenshot was Zach.
Zach!
Who is Zach? He's not the Grand Negus, right?
Yeah.
He's the Grand
He is
Negus.
okay, yes, okay. Wallace Shawn.
Oh my God, Brandon! Watch Deep Space Nine.
Brandon!
Brandon!
How did you not know that?
Shut it.
Although I can't
Make
decide if
or
Adam
do.
sounds more like, pardon me, Grand Negus Zach or Beldar Conehead.
What have you... Your sensor rings. Your cone is too young.
Or he sounds like the guy from. You also kind of
I haven't seen
sound
that movie in a long time.
I haven't
I
either.
remember that part.
the guy from Galaxy
I'm
Quest.
scared to go back to it because I know it doesn't hold up.
The guy from Galaxy Quest.
Yes, played by the
No,
guy
he
who was
doesn't
on
sound
Just
like
Shoot
that.
Me.
He sounds
Balthazar?
like Balthazar.
Yeah, Malthazar.
But I have seen many rooms.
You just remind me of that for a minute. Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and rate this. I've got something in my eye. It's driving me crazy.
Make sure you're just not crying from the gravity of this episode.
No, that's what it is. But only out of the one eye. Let's
Wow.
hear
Single
from
tear.
Adam first.
I think I might actually give that maybe a 3.5. I think it's a really good character piece and stuff. But I had kind of forgotten what it was about. But yeah, the flashback and everything. Yeah, I forgot that they kind of tied that in with her own father's passing and stuff. And Nana Visitor did a really great job in this episode.
That makes it a lot more personal and a lot richer of a story, I think, yeah. I'm somewhere between a 3 and a 3.5, but I guess I'll go all the way to the 3.5 plays. Especially just compared to the previous episode. Since I gave that a 3. I feel like rating these together kind of affects my rating a little bit.
I'm also going to give it a 3.5. I gave the last one a 3.5. This one gets a 3.5 for me. I think it was a very good Kira episode. And it had a lot of, it was interesting. It's always interesting to see her or any of them be friendly to Cardassians. And it was just kind of an interesting interplay to find out that one of the few you thought was the good one was not as good as you thought. But you had to know, like, deep down, right? But at the same time, you lived in kind of probably the denial of the situation, and then you could no longer live in the denial of that
What's
situation.
funny is, I don't think you really think about that in Second Skin, though, or at least, I mean, I haven't seen that episode in a long time, but, like, I think he kind of comes off like one of the few exceptions, and then you come to this, and it's like, oh yeah, no, I should have known that.
So do you think it's a retcon, then,
of course,
that works?
It's hard to say.
Okay.
It's hard to say. It might be a thing they didn't think of.
Right.
Right. I mean, he still was like a,
Like, they got
a
to thinking
legate
about it.
or whatever. So it obviously, it's going to have some.
So
That's
stuff
true.
in
well, they
backstory,
probably
you
decide
know?
if they weren't thinking about it ahead of time in the earlier episode, they probably was like, well, who's a good character we could come back and make look,
They
different.
didn't really.
Yeah.
The early episode is very focused on the mystery too, and like what the heck is going on with Kira here, and is she really a Cardassian? Is she really this person?
His-
Yeah,
because that's all about him being in denial about the death of his daughter, and
Death's daughter, and then Kira doesn't know, but she just wakes up on this place,
Because am I remembering this right, Adam? Where like she actually thinks Kira is his daughter, or
Yes, it's like a blackmail type thing where they like try to make Kira look like his daughter basically, and then try to convince her that she is the long lost daughter basically.
But
in
he's
order
not
to
in on it, right? Doesn't he?
no,
think
he's being blackmailed.
That's what it
basically by
is.
his enemies.
Yeah.
And there's some guy that I don't remember what his name is, and then Garrick shoots him and vaporizes.
And so yeah,
My
they make him super sympathetic for the audience in that episode, but this one stands alone surprisingly well without it. Like even if you've not seen that, you still can, I think, glean enough about why she cares for him and sees him as a surrogate father and all of that. But
I'd agree with that statement.
But there's an extra layer in it, and it definitely watches better with it.
Yeah, what do you think that Gul Dukat could have perpetrated a false, like, do you think he could have faked returning the body to Cardassia and saying all those things?
Well, they probably could have done a ceremony with like an empty casket, you
Right.
know?
And if they wanted to lay him in state, they could have made a passable facsimile, I feel like.
Yeah, especially being the actual head of state now. Yeah, he absolutely could have done that.
Yeah.
So it kind of seemed weird to me that, he pinned it all on being able to return him. He should have just gone with a plan like that, I feel like.
That could be true.
Yeah, although the only problem with that is that, like, Cisco would know.
Yeah, but there's always the deniability, right? That's the
yeah.
Federation trying to poke holes in what we're telling you.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially now that they're like straight up enemies again.
Exactly.
Because they haven't been until
I
recently.
just feel like Ducat could have pulled something like that off if he tried.
No, probably so. No, you're right about that. But it gives us an excuse for a really good dramatic scene between them, and
Of course, I'm not arguing.
that's
against that.
that's the real reason it's there.
Of course, of course.
Okay, well, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I sure appreciate
Sure.
you. We'll be back in a couple more weeks. I'm talking to the audience, Brandon. God. We'll be back in a couple more Tuesdays with the next 2 episodes of Deep Space Nine. Brandon and I are going to come back here in a few minutes on Patreon.
We're gonna trudge uphill
or at least
both ways.
we're gonna try. I got this thing in my eye; it's driving me insane. But if I can figure that out, we'll be back in a little bit with at least an episode, if not a couple episodes of Discovery. We'll riff over that for you. And in the meantime, I was at Captain Logan. This is Brandon.
It was me.
And Adam. Thank you so much for being here with us, buddy.